Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
9:03 on April the 12th. Regular meeting, Liberty County Commissioners Court. We do have this full court this morning, but record to show that all the commissioners are present today. And not a real long agenda, but then again, it's going to be a good one. We have a young man with us this morning and some folks from Liberty Child Welfare Board that's going to be with us as well. So if we'll get started. Luke, where are you? I saw you. There you are. Come on up. This is Luke Robinson.
Yes, sir.
All righty. And Luke is the candidate for Eagle Scout.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what we're going to do first, Luke, if you would, you can set your binder down there.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, Kim won't keep it forever if you put it over there by joint mine. And if you would lead us in the pledges this morning, please, and the invocation as well.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Luke, if you lead us in prayer this morning, please.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all together safely today. Pray for blessings on each and every person, and I pray for a productive meeting. And pray for the people of Liberty County, that they'll be blessed and that the meeting will do and will follow with what you will. Please give wisdom to each of these leaders here today, that they'll make the right decisions. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We have some oaths and proclamations first, so if you want to share just for a minute, I'll get you back up in just a second. Okay? And we have a proclamation this morning. Declaring April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Liberty County Child Welfare Board is here, and I'm sure y'all seen the display on the corner around here. It's there for a reason. We get it every year, but it does bring the awareness for everybody. So I don't see any y'all are here, and wait till I can't miss you.
I know, Judge.
Come on up.
Trying to keep low profile, buddy.
I know the feeling. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody good?
Good morning.
If I'd known we were wearing blue, y'all didn't send me an email. I would want to make sure.
We're missing, we're slipping, we're slipping.
Y'all come around.
And we have CPS caseworkers and supervisors and staff
All right.
that are coming to join us today to celebrate.
And you got women back here hurting everybody up.
That is my identical
I'll get my
twin.
hands off. It's not gonna be a problem.
They go mind, aren't you? Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all all for coming. Thank y'all for everything you do. I mean, I don't know if people probably realize what all y'all get to take care of in the county, and especially with who you get to work with. It is so important, and as we grow, it's going to become more. I appreciate everybody that steps up and takes care of everything. Even though we do this every year, we should do it every month. Okay. Anyway, the proclamation declaring April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse is a major cause of preventable violence and death among children in Liberty County, it is an ever-increasing problem in today's society. It warrants heightened awareness among the county population. Whereas child abuse can take the form of physical abuse, sexual abuse, and/or neglect. Whereas all citizens can help stop child abuse in Liberty County by being concerned about the health and safety of our neighborhood children by calling. I'm going to do the Bill Buchanan version of this. 1-800 252-5400. What was that number again?
1-800-252-5400.
We can do it one more time. Thank you. 1-800-252-5400. All right. To report suspected child abuse. National Child Abuse Prevention Month is a time to make their struggle our own. It reaffirms a simple truth that caring for the most vulnerable in our society must always be our first concern. Whereas we commend all the agencies in Liberty County who work tirelessly to prevent child abuse, care for the victims of child abuse. Now therefore be it resolved, the Commissioners Court of Liberty County, Texas does hereby proclaim the month of April 2022 is Child Abuse Prevention Month in support of child abuse victims and of those who help raise awareness in order to stop the senseless violence within our communities. Signed and sealed this 12th day of April 2022. I'll sign this. Cindy, I'm gonna hand this to you. This is my favorite part because I feel this is the John Wayne moment right here. Okay? All right.
But I'm on the shrinking side now.
Oh.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all so much.
Appreciate everybody coming out, all the hard work that the CPS staff do. And it's a hard job. We appreciate them doing it. So thank you all.
Yeah.
And our board, we're all volunteers. So we just all have big hearts and we do it because it's what we've been doing it.
You've been at this for a long time.
Well, I worked for CPS 27 years, retired, and now I've been volunteering for 15. So my husband says, really, you're gonna quit to volunteer?
And then Wendell's in between fishing tournaments. I mean, he's trying to run.
I just move the heavy stuff and try not to trample it.
There you go.
Wendell is our manpower.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, he does an awesome job. He takes directions, whatever y'all want me to do.
There it is.
If I can remember.
We appreciate it.
Well, thank y'all so much. I'll tell you what, would everybody just introduce yourselves while we're here? I mean, Denise is here with us and she might get a chance to write down if she's really good at shorthand, but anyway, we'll start over with you.
Actually, I'm Melanie Cotton. I'm with CASA, Liberty Chambers County, we're court-appointed special advocates
Right.
with CPS.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
thank
I'm Wendell Null, Liberty County CPS Board.
I'm Rika Abear at PSS, which is Family Based Special Director of Liberty Office. I'm a Liberty County local.
And I'm Jessica Prince. I'm with Family Based Services as well. I'm a specialist. And I'm out at, we do Liberty County and Chambers. And I actually am from Montgomery.
It's okay, but it's a short distance between here and we've got.
Straight shot this morning.
There you go.
And I'm Latasha Allen, the FBSS supervisor.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Sharonda Ease, the CPS caseworker.
I'm Rhonda Ainsworth Bynum. I'm a family-based safety services caseworker.
And I'm Christy Ann. I'm a conservatorship CPS supervisor.
And how many years have you been here, Chris?
19.
19.
See that?
Longevity, we have
Yeah.
longevity.
I'm Audrey Lynch and I'm CPS conservatorship caseworker. Meredith Ruby's CPS conservatorship caseworker.
I'm Megan Garza, FBSS specialist out of Galveston County.
All right.
I'm Connie Jordan, CPS board member.
Cindy Apr, CPS board president, ready to pass the baton at any moment.
Well,
We miss you too much.
Donna Abear, CPS vice president.
And then we have Marcella, who is our leader.
Hi, I'm Marcella Herrera. I'm the conservatorship program director.
yes, ma'am. Thank y'all so much. Y'all give them a hand. That's. We do, right?
We appreciate it.
Everybody works. Y'all work, we work, everybody does. We go, whatever y'all need, just please let us know. These guys they are for anything to help the kids and whatever.
Appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all. Yes, ma'am, too. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good crowd. Buddy. Next item up, Luke Robinson, come on back up if you would, please.
Yes, sir.
As we mentioned a while ago, Luke is a candidate for Eagle Scout. And he has a project he's going to be working on. We discussed this a little bit. It's a pretty worthwhile project because, well, that relic has been there since after World War II. So, but he'll give you the history. I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to let Luke take care of that. But Eagle Scout, I don't know if y'all know how hard it is to reach that level. I know we have one judge that's an Eagle Scout, Judge Hinch. So I think he still displays his Eagle Scout medallion in a shadow box in his office. It's pretty tough to get there, but boy, it sure is working too. So anyway, Luke, you would tell us about yourself and what your project is.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Luke Robinson. I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 727 in Kingwood, Texas. My project will restore the old cannon that's in front of this courthouse. So over in one of the corners at an intersection. We'll be sanding it, power washing it, scrubbing it, and painting it. We'll begin by power washing it to remove some of the already loose paint. We'll then use the sandpaper, cutting knives, and wire brushes to really just kind of get it all off as much as we can. And then scrub it with bleach and water just to clean it up and to get it ready for painting. And then we'll paint it the chosen paint color. I come to Liberty fairly often because my family is from here and still lives here. My great grandmother used to say that the cannon needed a railing around it back before there was a railing. One day while walking down the street, she hit her head on it and fell and broke her hip. After that, the city put the railing around it. I'm really excited to be cleaning this cannon. It's a piece of history. It came straight from World War II. I don't really know how it got there. I don't think anyone does, but it needs to be cleaned. There's mold and algae growing on it. It's covered in rust. The paint is flaking, and it's just in bad condition. On Thursday, June 30th, volunteers and I will power wash the cannon. After it's thoroughly scrubbed, we'll then begin the sanding and drying. Sanding, drying, and scrubbing of the cannon. On Friday, July 1st, volunteers and I will finish the sanding and scraping of the paint and rust. If time allows, we'll begin painting the cannon. Saturday, July 2nd, volunteers and I will paint the cannon the designated paint color. I've already contacted Ms. Linda Jameson, the Liberty County Historical Chair, and obtained her approval for the project and for the paint color. I've also contacted Mr. Thompson and asked for his assistance with volunteers. I've left a message with Mr. D.T. Burkott and hope to attain assistance from him too. I've already talked and reviewed my project with Judge Knight, and he's given his approval for it. Judge Knight asked that I present to you today to gain your support too. Thank you.
And we do support this. Not very often people just step up and take care of things like this. If y'all know the history about the cannon, there was one there prior to this one. But when World War II started, they took that old World War I cannon and scrapped it so they could, well, bullets or whatever you would use metal for. And after the war was over, the WW2 was over, they got us another cannon. And I don't know how long it's been since it's been painted. I couldn't tell you. It's been a while, yeah. And but thank you so much for taking on this project. Now, your dad grew up here in Liberty, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And his parents grew up
And his
here.
parents grew up here too. Okay. So you have some pretty good anchored roots right here with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Thank you so much. Yeah, you bet. And I know we have getting with Ms. Jameson and helping, just on the history side part of it, and then also the paint selection as well. And then I'll get with Sheriff and Mr. Birch and see if maybe we can get
some folks out here do a little bit of help too. Figure we can bring one or two over. And then also Tom Guidry, he was a longtime educator here. He's a director for Liberty High School or Liberty ISD. And he had voiced his concern about this. And then when you came along, I'm like, we can help an Eagle Scout candidate become an Eagle Scout. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you, bud. Thank you.
Buddy. Okay, there are any conflicts of interest?
Well, staying on 16.
Number 16, okay. Yes, sir. Next item up, consent agenda. Dwayne, we don't have any items today. Kim, anything for us?
I don't today, thank you.
Okay. All right, y'all had a chance to look over the consent agenda? Everybody? Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir. Got a motion to approve? Second.
Which one was first and which was second?
Leon was the motion and Dave was second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Steve, I can't hear you out this. It's all of us, yeah. I never can hear good out of here. Number 4, monthly reports. Okay, that's all of the agenda. Consent agenda. Okay, regular agenda today. First one up, Sheriff. Consider and take action to approve the amendment to the inmate communications agreement with NCIC to include at no charge to the county inmates or friends and family members scanning inmate mail. This does not include opening or scanning legal or medical mail. Legal medical mail will still be sent directly to the LCSO and hand delivered to inmates by jail staff, which is pretty much the rule.
Yes, sir. Judge, basically what this does is NCIC will scan the mail and then put it up on a kiosk. The inmate has a code and they can just read it like a text message would be there. And that'll cut down some of the problems that we have. It seems like people like to soak the paper in liquid meth and other stuff. And when the inmate gets it, I don't know they're interested in reading it, but they like to eat it. And that'll cut out a bunch of this.
Right, right.
So,
and just for the public, what does NCIC stand for?
I have no clue. It's not NCIS, National Corrections, yeah, Instant Corrections in there somewhere.
It's not National Crime Investigation Computer.
Matthew did agree, I mean, and he's the one that suggested I bring it to court. He's reviewed the contract.
Yes, yeah, I don't see any issues.
Yeah. We use NCIC and TCIC for years and TDCJ.
Yes.
So I've got a lot of good acronyms today, okay?
Right, yes, sir.
All right, what's the court's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion, Bruce. Second, Greg, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Number 2 on the regular agenda, Ms. Harris. Take action on review of Liberty County investment policy.
Yes, sir. This is just the annual review, and I'm recommending no changes from last year's policy. I sent this all to you yesterday, and I think
Any questions, discussion?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Leon, second, David, to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 3 from Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
How's the Astros doing there, Rick?
So far, I think they're in the winning season, so if it ended today, they'd be in first place.
There you go. All right. Consider approve the annual property tax strike-off transactions. You have a few, or just
Yes, sir. This is part of an annual, basically, it's not something that we have an option to do. We shall charge off, anything that's not secured by a judgment, which preserves it, forever. But if they don't have a judgment, then after 20 years, the 20th year gets struck off and the current year gets added. So you always keep a total of 20 years of taxable amount owes. And usually the older one that you're striking off is less because it was based on maybe less value. But over time, with penalties, interest, and everything get it added, the amount keeps going up. So we started probably 3 or 4 years ago, just every April, making sure that we address it annually. So this is probably the 4th year we brought it to the Commissioner's Court. It's not something that really requires approval, but what we do a couple weeks ago, we sent it out to all the entities saying, look, this is what we're fixing to strike off. We send it to all the attorneys in case they find something that, hey, that was held by judgment, you shouldn't be striking it off. Not sure if they even go to the details looking at it, but we presented it to them, and according to our records and the DAD records, these are eligible for strike-offs. So this year it amounted to, if you look for Liberty County, I think we gave you a summary sheet of all the entities that we're doing, but if you look down to Liberty County, we're actually striking off, let's see, here you are. Let's see, I'll find it. Here we go, it's in the middle. 5,963 accounts for a total of $147,100.22. But you can see for the entire entities that we collect for, it's over 15,000 accounts for over 801,000. And last year, this time was around 400,000. So this is really twice as much as we did last year. But again, it kind of cleans them up. You can't collect them after 20 years or 5 years on personal property. So it's kind of a misleading to the entity saying they have that to collect if they don't. So, and something just put on your radar.
But this doesn't revert back to the previous owner, correct?
No, sir. These are active collectible accounts,
Okay.
and it's still fully collectible, you know, once it goes through the process. But we can only hold up to 20 years on real property and hold up to 5 years on personal property. So the other ones actually get struck off. And there's a note in each account saying struck off this day, you know, as per the code, you know, that gives us that authority in the code. So it's not something, like I said, that has to be approved, but I feel like it's something that we want to present to you because it's a pretty good chunk of taxes that are going out the window. But we're replacing them with the 21, you know, so the one that gets kicked off is 20 years ago.
Yep.
Any other questions on it? Like I said, what I kind of give you a upfront thing, what I'm considering doing, presenting it to you, and I want to have some discussion with you about it in more detail. But the tax code also allows for indigent accounts to be removed from the tax rolls. These are mean that you no longer can collect them. There's no way you're going to collect these things, and it's in addition to the strike-offs. So again, these are accounts that we can't go after them. There's no collateral there, but they just continue to accrue on the roll. And to me, it gives the entities, again, a false reading that that's part of their tax base, but it takes action and something in the code that does allow you to address indigent taxpayers. It's not something we're just going to jump on and do, but I think it may help clean up some of our deals that they still being charged that if you can't collect them, but you're still being shown as, you know, possible collections. So we'll present it to you in some detail. And then, but I think it's kind of been on my radar, and I'd like to maybe move forward on that a little bit because we're finding that there's several, especially with old businesses and stuff that just, you know, they've gone out of business, but the CAD can't remove them until they say they're out of business. You know, and some of those amount of pretty good money,
Right.
But you're not really giving up anything. You're just kind of cleaning up the ropes. But I'll get back with you all on a later date. That's a discussion. But that's all I have to do today, and ask that you take action to approve.
Essentially, we just need to approve to accept your report.
Yes, sir, as it applies to Liberty County.
Move that we accept the report that applies to Liberty County. Second.
Got those from Greg, second to accept this report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Number 4, consider approving the following, Jen Spencer and Oliver Harrison for a 2-year reappointment to the Liberty County Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. And we've discussed this, they've agreed to stay. So, and of course, y'all know how this works. We appoint the board members. That's about the end of our stake in the game, really. It, just because we're the governing body of the county.
Motion to approve.
Motion for Leon, second David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, that motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 5, from Ms. Chambers, consider to approve new custom printed binders for the Liberty County Clerk Vital Records from 1969 through 2022 from Scott Berman. TIPS Cooperative Contract number 200105 for number
It should be a dollar sign.
the $sign for $33,320 plus shipping and handling to be paid from the Liberty County Clerk Records Management Fund. So that comes out of
Comes out of my money.
and not Dwayne's money.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And I'd like to point out, I mean, in the month of March, if you look at the report we just submitted, and records management alone added $58,800. So we put a significant amount of money in there. There's more than enough funds to cover it, but I have copies. I brought some birth records, marriage records, death records. There should be sitting up here. And if you notice what we're putting them in, there are these very cheap, unreliable canvas boarded things. And what happens is when they have to take them out and put them back in, they're tearing, they're getting out of order. This is the newer stuff. This is like this year. And when they came to me and said, you have to buy a new book for 2022, I looked at them and I went, ew, we gotta be able to do better than that. So the new ones, they're not quite leather. They look like leather. They're gonna look a whole lot like the ones we have now. I've got some swatches in here somewhere. So they'll be navy blue like the ones that we're restoring. They'll have gold lettering like the ones we're restoring. They'll match up. But what they'll allow us to do is keep these in a more secure environment. It'll be easier for us to get them in and out. Plus, the interns get to spend part of their summer putting little clear things around the holes so they will quit tearing and they will come in and out correctly. Reinforcement. So that's what the whole thing is. And it's a whole bunch of them. It's just vital records. But there's 100, there's quite a few, 180 something of them. And they're $175 a piece, but they're printed. They're custom printed. They state birth records for this year and all of that. So it'll be nice. It'll be a good thing for us. And we really, really need it because we need to get away from this. Those things that stick up, they won't go on the shelves. And when you pull them out, they break off. It's a disaster. And we need to fix it. But this is the newer records, not the older records. So it's a little bit different from what we've been doing. But I think you'll like it. It'll be a good thing and we need it. So
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
All right. We got a motion, Bruce, second Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Sheriff, you still have anything left out over in the old records office next to your office? There was some old binders over there. I just got to thinking about that. Just
Right.
Yeah. Where people would back in the old days trade, I think a jail sentence fine or whatever for a dozen eggs or whatever it was handwritten.
I have an old record book in my office you need to come look at.
Okay. Yeah, some of those ones like that are pretty historic.
If you bring them over, we can add them to the archive list and have them, treated and restored and rebound and stuff
And
like we're
these
doing
are-
our old records.
Yeah, you need to look at it. They're worth preserving. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the project we're doing. So we can add them to the list and do it.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Number 6, Commissioner Arthur, consider to approve interlocal agreement between Liberty County and Cypress Lakes Fire Department for a period of 1 year to cooperate mutually in maintaining streets, roads, ditches, and recreational areas to provide better service to the public at a reduced expense by avoiding costly duplication of equipment, manpower, and resources. That's your standard local agreement.
Second.
Got a motion, David, second, Bruce to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7, Commissioner Arthur, consider and approve resolution clarifying abandonment of certain portions of Magruder Street in North Cleveland.
This is a road parallel to the 59 frontage road up there where they're widening, and they contacted me about a week or so ago, but they needed a resolution clarifying that we have no interest in that property, and they're trying to tell me what to put in the resolution. So I told them to send, you make the resolution and send it to me, and I include it in a package and give it to Matthew, and I think everything's okay, but then.
Resolution, yeah, it's just fine. So Magruder Street, we have actually abandoned a couple of lots worth of Magruder Street in the past, I'd say over 20 years. And so that's kind of one reason I just language say clarifying, is because I think certain of these portions have already been abandoned. But the only hiccup here is the code requires us to send notice 30 days to any utility companies who may have a line running right there. And I just don't know offhand whether or not there are. I just need a little bit of time to ask somebody to run out there, see if there's any utility on there. If there is, if there is, then we have to send a notice of 30 days. So if there isn't, then I can, as soon as I know that, we can bring it back to court sooner. But what I would ask for is a motion approving notice be sent to any utilities who are found to be located in this property, and then that's what I'll research, and if there isn't, I'll bring it back to court.
Okay.
Make a motion to have Matthew's office go out to utility companies, make sure there's no problems there.
Send notice.
Send notice. Yes.
Second.
Okay, got a motion. Bruce, say Greg. You got all that, Lee? I see there. All right, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Likewise, next.
So just said whatever Matthew said.
Yeah. Works pretty good. Okay. Number 8, consider approving amendment to the base contract for Burns Architecture LLC in the amount of $30,000 to prepare the conceptual design for a new annex in Cleveland, Texas. The site conceptual design, development of project plan and necessary means, programming, coordinating work effort, and presenting information to Commissioners Court. And since Burns is our chosen architect for 2 projects, this is the 3rd project will come up. We've discussed this, where the need is. It's kind of like putting the scratch where the itch is. It's a simple way of saying it. But we've discussed this at other meetings where we had a workshop about where the growth is and what we need to do. And this will be the first step to get started in identifying the user group first. And then work toward a conceptual design. Who's going to be in this building? It's on the property that's contiguous to the current annex and Cosmo's office in Cleveland. So be on the vacant lot that's further out. And I don't know, Greg, if that's north, south, east, or west from, but it goes out towards 787 on that property. But I do know that looking at the additional court needs for precinct 6, it's pretty much put us in this direction. But I know Rick Brown, you have an office over there too, the current annex, and people are paying their bills while they stand outside.
Yes.
And this might, but it's no might to it. What it would do is it alleviate some of the problems, crowding problems we have. So it's just a step in that direction. Dwayne, I think we've discussed it. We do have the money for this to start it. If the court's pleasure would be to start this direction, I appreciate it. If not, we are open for discussion.
Well, I have a problem with this for the fact it hasn't been before Commissioners Court of whether we even going to build anything there, although we have all agreed just about it, that the need's there. We have no idea where the money's coming from, although we do have the money in the STAR. This is not the first conceptual that we have had Burns doing. The last one was the Judicial Center that time we get money to build it, those drawings will have to be redone. We spent a little over 60,000 on that one. I just think that we need to approve us doing something over there and where the money's coming from before we get someone to come in and do the architectural work on it.
How can you approve a project without having a scope of this?
Well, Commissioner Court hasn't even agreed to build anything there yet.
We've had plenty of discussions over at the Hartel building.
Yes, we have. But we
And
still
we all
have not.
agreed at that meeting, if I'm not mistaken, we agreed at that meeting that we need to do something.
You know, it's plain as a hand in front of your face, Bruce. They need help up there.
Yes, they do.
You know,
Yes, they do.
Yeah, we
But
have
us
to spend a
spending,
little
us
bit of
spending
money.
money on
so I have to
something.
spend a little bit of money to make this go forward. I make the motion we approve.
Okay. All right. Motion to approve from Leon, second from David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
Nay.
That motion does carry. But, show one day. Well, let's get started. We already have the money set aside for an annex in Collie Ridge, which we need desperately. Sheriff needs it. I know.
Have we even broke ground on that yet?
Yes. That problem, the way we're looking at it, Bruce, is once we get everything in place and break ground, it's gonna be about a 9 to 10 month project. And that
Yeah,
will be
that's
pretty
definitely
fast track. Yeah. And once that was done, we're hoping that we can have this one lined out, but we have, you know where the money is for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have some other ones too, so.
I just want to make sure that we're spending this money here.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, the other side of it is, we have the annex in Dayton. And we've looked at it. And I'm not gonna say anything wonderful about that annex, except when you repurpose a building that was once a bank and change it into an annex for county purposes and offices, do we want to keep spending money on putting lipstick on a pig, basically? Or do you want to do something different? And I think our goal right now is to get what needs to be done. We have an existing building, and it'll suffice a little bit longer. But the other side of it is we don't have enough in Cleveland to suffice.
Oh, I know we need some.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about the need there.
But anyway, that's just food for thought. Basically, nobody likes to spend money, but if you got the money to do this, you're not borrowing the money, okay? It's not gonna be $125, $150 million project like that judicial center.
Correct.
And that was scary, but yet we got a plan that everyone is in agreement on what the plan was. But this, one of these days, we'll have enough money to do the jail, and then further down the road, the youngins will be here and we'll all be out fishing. That's my plan anyway. And they can decide on the judicial center, but at least we have a location for it. All right, moving along. Number 9, Mr. C, consider and approve recommendation to award bid number 2211, modular office building for Constable number 5. And we've been on this for a while, Harold, and finally got someplace. Yeah.
Money was set aside in the general fund for a building for a couple of constables. This is for the one in Parkington, number 5. You have a bid tabulation, or you should have. It shows that 4 companies were interested, showed an interest. 2 of them actually sent in a response. Satellite shelter for $84,481 and standard buildings for $65,000. And we recommend the 65,000. If you have any questions, Stephanie did all the work on it, so she can hopefully answer any question you may have. If you have any. Your recommendations is who? Standard buildings for 65,000.
Make the motion.
Second, meet all your needs.
All right, got a motion from Leon and a second from Bruce to approve the Monter office building cost of $65,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. That motion carries. All right, Dave, you better get your rake and your shovel out there and clear the spot.
Already done.
All right, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Already got the tree cut.
Okay. If you don't have enough of them done, I have some beavers at the ranch I'll bring down here and they can shovel the other ones for you. That was another story. TxDOT says I don't have beaver problems out there. Well, when you got trees that look like they've been in a pencil sharpener, I think we do. Okay. Number 10 from Mr. C, accept and acknowledge the list of items sold in Liberty County online auction. And they check Renee Bates Auctioneers Incorporated in the amount of $20,796.76. You have a good sale there, Harold?
Yeah, well, Stephanie's doing a great job of going around and finding all this junk that's just sitting around nobody's using and having auctions about every 2 months. So if you have anything, call her up and get with her and we'll try to get it all cleaned up. I think she worked out a deal with adult probation that once a month.
Yes,
They're gonna help have a day where they will help pick up stuff because we don't really have any way to get it now.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna provide one of their buildings.
They're gonna allow us.
Right now. Anyway, we just want to put that as a pretty good haul on that one. I think it was 7 cars involved and a bunch of office supplies.
Good deal. Thank you. What's the court's pleasure?
Need to approve.
Bruce, second, Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no.
Turning junk into money.
Yeah. Do the mattress back on that. Number 11, from Mr. C, consider and approve recommendation to award bid number 2212 for asphalt overlay for various precincts.
For signature. Again, I'm not sure why I'm up here because again, Stephanie worked on this asphalt overlay. Lost my sheet.
We're recommending to award to Washburn Paving LLC. They were the lowest bid. They had, we did vet them and we checked their references. It looks like they're going to be able to provide us with a good contract. This is something different because it's asphalt overlay, but it's a term contract. So we're asking to approve this contract for 1 year and we'll have the option to renew if we want to, without having to go back out for bid for additional 2-year term, 1 year terms for 2 years.
My only question with Washburn, I'm quite familiar with their operations. They are a fairly small company. I'm gonna be having a lot of asphalt overlays over the summertime. Are they gonna be able to get to all of our needs? I don't know what the rest of the commissioners are gonna be doing, but I will be using whoever we choose quite often this summer.
Well, because we did put it out to bid, if they are not allowed to meet our, if they're not able to meet our needs, and we'll address that with them, we'll do a contract kickoff meeting, if you will, with the precincts and if they're unable to meet our needs, we'll be able to go back.
And when will this be?
Well, the contract would start today when y'all approve it.
Talking about a meeting because I'll have a list of roads that I'll be wanting to do this summer.
Well, after the contract's approved, I will reach out to the vendor, let them know of the award. I'll have to get their appropriate insurance. And then we won't issue POs. It'll be on a project by project basis where the department will create a requisition and that'll trigger purchasing to reach out to the vendor for payment and performance bonds if they're necessary for the project.
Do you know your list yet?
No, I should have it by the end of the week.
If they do, let us know.
Yeah, because
Determining by square foot or yard or tonnage.
They're charging per square yard and it's based on using type D, hot mix type D with an SS-1 tack coat. We've even put in the specifications that they lay it down at a rate of, I think it was 0.3. Bruce helped me identify that. So it's per square yard and it's based on 1.5 inch compacted all the way to 3 inch compacted. So you just pick you look at this contract and you would even be able to know, just how many square yards you have, how much it would cost you.
What is the yardage cost?
What item would you like to know? Do you want me to, 1.5 compacted is $9.88 a square yard. 2 inch compacted is $11.01 per square yard. 2.5 inch compacted is $13.70 per square yard. And 3 inch compacted is $19.32 per square yard.
Did you say you had a backup contractor if they can't, if they get tired of it, they get to your work?
I believe that if they're unable to meet our needs, we'll be able to go back to the next low offer and see if they would be able to step in. Harold, how do you feel about that? Because we could award a prime and an alternate. But the alternate can only be used in the event the prime is unavailable.
You can do award for Washburn and do the alternate is the second. We did this years ago when we did road materials, we always did this, the overlays. Because we had commissioners back then that used it a lot. Then we got where nobody did it anymore. So we dropped it off the road materials and now we're back. We had been doing it individually. So we decided to go back and just do it countywide.
Well, with the pipelines coming through and stuff and the Exxon money that precinct 1 has, I planned on using. We're not gonna be able to get to all the roads that needs to be capped with our crew. That's why I'm gonna be going out for overlay asphalt on a lot of these roads that we're getting money from different sources.
So when you get your list and we meet with them, then we'll get a better idea if they think they can. If for some reason they can't, we come back to court.
Lawson is the backup that I like this too.
Matthew, I don't remember, is this the same contractor as 688?
That's Cowboys.
That was Cowboys, yeah.
Washburn, back when we used to do it, and it was actually used years ago, 20 years, 15, 20 years ago, Washburn did win that quite good. They did a lot of work for us back a while back.
Okay. Further discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
So are you approving a prime and an alternate vendor or just the awarded contract to?
I'd like to award the contract to them, but I'd like to have an alternate for Vulcan.
That's what I have written down. Washburn is the award to Washburn with Vulcan Materials as a second or backup.
Is that okay with you, Leo?
That's great.
Okay.
All right,
Leon, and then you.
Bruce. Okay, a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise. And just to help folks out real quick that are listening, because I'm pretty sure they are listening since we're live streaming on YouTube. When you do an overlay, does that mean you're gonna blow bag everything and go back? Or just
Depending on the road situation, most of the time, if I go in there and it's an existing road that has a good sub, then we'll go in there and we'll make cutouts, patch those. Now, if the road is completely, the county will go in and redo the sub, compact it, and then we'll hire somebody to come in and do the overlay if we're not able to do it.
Okay.
So I already have like 4 or 5 roads that are ready for topping, just waiting for the right weather to do it. And this Vulcan will help us considerably.
Good deal.
Some of the roads like 428 stuff that Exxon's coming through, it's still a good base, but they have tore up the topping or the sealers. So we're just gonna go in there and have them re-asphalt.
Some of the precincts, I know like Leon's precinct, especially, you know, we had the GTI guys tearing the roads up pretty well. And also, you know, the dump trucks and also garbage trucks are pretty bad, aren't they, Leon?
Yes.
Okay. And it, you have that same. Yeah.
Trucks, or East Kent area.
And it, what is we're gonna build a road a mile up, and it's gonna be asphalt. What does that cost?
About $180,000.
$180,000 for 1 mile.
1 mile.
That's
Well,
That's not asphalt, that's chip seal.
chip seal, okay.
So you throw asphalt on top of it, it's gonna look a little higher.
If we go by specs, 2.5 inches compact to the last bid that David and I got was over $300,000.
Yeah, that's asphalt. Cause I just spent on, County Road 460. We spent, what was that bid that we just paid Vulcan? 110,000 for less than a mile.
I don't remember.
And that price is over there.
Yeah, and that price was with fuel and everything else. Yes, that's why it's hard to believe that, Vulcan is, Washburn is going to be able to stick with this with the prices of everything just skyrocketing right now.
Yeah, we did one about 275 for just a little less than a mile.
So it just kind of depends on location and then contractor too. So my point is, it's not cheap.
No.
And based on what materials y'all receive in your budget per year, that's the other question is, how do you get additional money? What's the lowest gonna
With
be?
my budget, I can do less than 4 miles.
Yeah. Right.
So
And,
that's per year.
yeah, folks don't understand that. That's why I was trying to bring this up. It's you're not gonna do every road in your precinct in 1 year.
Judge, just the overlay with the 2.5 inches compacted at $11 a yard, you're $142,000 just for the overlay. That's not base, that's not your substrate, that's just your overlay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted a little clarification from the public to see what we're talking about. It's, Greg, you got what, 450 miles or more?
Yeah, a little more than that.
Bruce, how many miles you got?
I have no idea right now where I count roads now.
Leon, you're sitting about 275, something like that?
About 278 and we're still doing a little more.
Okay.
But we've got 2 subdivisions now that are cutting the roads.
Yeah. Okay. And David, you?
220 and growing.
And growing, okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Less than 500 and then about 200 miles of lateral ditches.
Yeah. And then
we try
where you got a road, you got a
try to
ditch.
keep mowing.
If you got a ditch on each side, so you got 1,000 miles of ditches to take care of. So think about that. That's from almost from here to Los Angeles, California. It's about 1,200 miles. So, hey, when you get another 200 miles, you'll have enough ditches to stretch it for. But that's what we look at. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. And anybody that had a question about it, had a little clarification. Okay. And we did approve this, correct, Lee?
I haven't gotten yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Sorry, I'm
Got
on
a
the
check
next
mark.
one already.
I got a check mark about it, okay.
I'm on the next one already.
All right. Next one's from Mr. C. Consider and approve soliciting proposals for self-funded medical and prescriptions and dental administration, fully funded vision and ancillary insurance for employees, and fully insured medical for retirees.
Okay, this is a little early, but all this is saying is y'all agree that we're gonna go up for proposals for our medical and retiree insurance. The timeline we have right now is the request for proposals would be advertised in June. I think it's end of July, 1st August, they'd be received. So we're talking about insurance that starts in January 1st, 2023. So all we're saying is y'all agree that we're going out for proposals because we're looking at other alternatives. I talked to TAC, I think TAC, you talked to TAC. TAC is gonna provide us some kind of a quote.
Yeah.
And we may see some other alternatives between now, but it just says, whatever we do, y'all agree that we're gonna go out. See,
You know what TAC is using, and they use it Blue Cross. Is it Select?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, the way this falls, if we start now, hopefully we'll have our insurance our quotes for consideration by late August, early September, and we can make a decision because it goes into the budget in October, even though it is effective in January. So we don't want to scare Dwayne to death when we get everything at the last minute. So, well, it wouldn't scare Dwayne, but it would scare Angela. Anyway, okay. All right.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Leon, second from Greg. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, that motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 13, consider and approve purchase of furniture in the amount of
$260,765.12 from Texas Correctional Industries for the Sheriff's Office. Please name a funding source.
We discussed this in court before. Sheriff's Office went to TCI, Texas Correctional Industries. I think they looked and then gave them their needs, and they received a quote. Their quote was $260,765.12. And if y'all, just because of some misunderstandings, I guess, before, which I would put the funding source of what budget we're paying out of, so we won't have that happen on this. I won't put Dwayne on the spot, but do y'all have a spot for that?
Yes.
Is it general? General fund, okay.
Yeah.
It's not out of the.
Not a part of that. It's in the general fund. And we discussed this last year.
Make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Greg, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. Well, this makes sense in doing that, Mayor, not using certificate of obligation money to pay for furniture. I mean, really.
Paying interest on it.
Yeah, for 20 years, yeah. Okay. Smart business, y'all.
Right, Texas Correction has, it makes it really nice.
They really do. It, by the way, for those that are curious, that is the prison system. And they do a really good job all over the state of Texas, even school districts.
Yeah, if you're interested in the work they do, go down to our CC2 down there and just take a look.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. All right, number 14, Mr. C, don't run off yet. Consider and approve adding an item to the contract with Top Stop for body armor for the sheriff's department.
This is a recent contract we just awarded. We went out for body armor for the sheriff's office. It had 3 items on it. They've realized since then that there was an additional item for different officers in their office that was not on contract. So the vendor submitted a quote. I did a little research online to verify that quote was competitive, and it was. So we're just asking to add this to their term contract.
Discussion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from David, second from Greg to approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 15 is Mr. C. Consider and approve the engagement agreement with Haley and Olson attorneys at law for legal services for the Northwest Annex project.
Okay, this was on here before, it got tabled. We want to do a little more research on it, but it was originally, what was before you was for them to provide the contract when the RFP is awarded, whichever vendor gets it to provide the contract we're going to use. But really, like when we used Bickerstaff, when we did the jail, we're probably going to have other legal questions or whatever during the process. So this is just to hire them to be the legal advisor on that Northwest Annex project.
Okay. Discussion.
Matthew?
Oh, I think that's just fine. You need specialized counsel on these types of construction projects.
Motion from Leon, second from David to approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 16, Mr. Douglas. Good morning. Morning to you. Consider approve revision of subdivision regulations for Encino and Santa Fe subdivisions that opened under older subdivision regulations.
Yes, so this is a clarification item. We've received requests from both of these subdivision developers that they be allowed to continue future sections under the old regulations that they were originally under. You know, we upgraded last year, about the middle of the year. We added Atlas 14, and we added some additional base requirements on the thoroughfare. So I need some clarification to that. Yeah, are we gonna allow Encino and also Santa Fe to continue their development under the old regs, or do we upgrade and move to the new regs? So that's my question to you this morning.
Well, I would have to say, it's like our fire marshal and our new rules and regulations, we don't try to penalize older businesses, just try to get the newer ones. Now I can see if this was a new subdivision, the new regulations apply, but subdivisions that are already running under the old one, don't see a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that, Terry.
But anything new, coming up the new one.
Yes, sir, I think that goes in the same.
Yes,
The question is, anything other than Santa Fe?
yes. Any new subdivision, as Greg indicated, I feel like we fall under the new subdivision. Why do we
Gentlemen,
not?
I have some advice I'd like to give y'all in executive session on this. That'll be all right.
Okay. But, check mark by this one. Let's move on to 17 and we'll come back to 16. 17 is Mr. C. Consider to approve the lease of 2 copy machines from 253rd District Court. Harold?
Okay, we have a, 2 Xerox machines, one upstairs or in our office on the 2nd floor and one down the courtroom. They've had all kinds of problems with it. Neither one of them are even working right now. They say they're called Xerox. They haven't come out and serviced it. I've contacted them. They're going to come look at it. So either they're going to fix it or we're going to do what we can to get other contract. There's 2 years remaining on it. They really need it because when they're in the middle of court, they need to make copies and they have to run to some other office now to try to do it. So if Nick is involved because now copiers are more than just copy machines, like we've already used them. So you know, he really liked the comic notes, but Sharp seemed to have a better deal. Xerox we've been unhappy with.
Is this one of the only ones we have left with Xerox?
We got several Xerox. So anyway, Sharp, probably any major purchasing co-op has probably every copier can have Conical note to recode Xerox and Sharp. We looked at Texas DIR, it's a technology department of the state where you can buy IT type stuff. And we also, Sharp is on the top board. So we looked at both of them. It looks like DIR is the best bet. But anyway, what I'd like to do, whatever we do, we're gonna try to get them 2 new machines as quickly as can. We're either gonna fix the Xerox, find somebody else that has an old Xerox, maybe trade it out for the next 2 years, or get them to pick it up and not renew the contract. But what I'd like to do is whatever we do with the 2 new ones, we're gonna look for Sharp, and it's gonna be off a co-op. So it doesn't have to be bid out. We all approve the 2 new machines, and then we'll do all that, and we'll get the paperwork, we'll bring it to the judge to sign.
I'll make a motion. Sorry.
That Leon or David got the first? I think it's, Leon, that was you?
David made the motion.
David, okay.
I second.
Got a motion, David, second, Leon, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, now, number 16, request to go into executive session under 551.071, consultation with attorney. Need a motion second.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion approved, second. Okay. In 10:32, we're back, regular session out of executive session. And I believe our discussion on the regulations for incentive and Santa Fe subdivisions. Open other older subdivision regulations, discussion was to table.
I would ask for a motion to table, please.
Can I make a motion to table?
Motion laid on the table,
Second.
second for Bruce, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Okay, David is going to abstain. Okay, all right. 3-1. All righty.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Dan, you hit that just right.